What's up, everyone? Justin here, back with a new video for the Feuds in Wrestling. Feuds in Wrestling, new video coming at you. Got all the feuds written down here that I could think of for this year that I'm going to talk about. It's been a long time, over 2 years, since I have done a Feuds in Wrestling video. Last one was Feuds in Wrestling 1987, in which I wore this Hot Rod Rowdy Piper shirt. I was going to wear it again, but I actually saw the video. I went back and found it. And right there, I'm wearing a Hot Rod shirt, if you can tell. So I didn't want to wear it again, so I decided to wear this other Rowdy Piper shirt with all the legendary Panther on it. I believe he wore this at WrestleMania 1. Anyways, my last Feuds in Wrestling video was over 2 years ago on May 26th, 2020 was my last Feuds in Wrestling video. It's been a long time. I did not forget that I started this series and made a playlist. I just been busy doing other videos for the last 2 years. A lot of predictions, a lot of reactions, a lot of review videos, a lot of video game video uploads, and other shows I've done. So here we go with my new Feuds in Wrestling video 1988. Feuds in Wrestling for the year 1988. Go back, check out my Feuds in Wrestling playlist, where I started the Feuds in Wrestling videos in talking about 1983 Feuds in Wrestling, because 1983 was the year I was born. I did not start watching wrestling right after I was born. I did not get exposed to it and become a fan until about late 86, early 87. I became a fan and hooked and obsessed at like 3 years old. So, here we go. Feuds in Wrestling 1988. You had a lot of guys that the whole business was like, looked like bodybuilders just about. A lot of the guys were fucking jacked and on the juice, on steroids, but who gives a crap? It doesn't bother me. And a lot of guys, sadly, from the 80s and 1988, some of these guys are no longer with us, but a lot of them still are. And a lot of them did roids, and they're still with us. Guys like Hogan. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I think, did roids in the late 80s. Ric Flair admitted to doing steroids in 89. Geez, a ton of other guys probably did them and are still alive today. So, the first feud I'm going to talk about in 1988 happened towards the end of the year. The original Midnight Express against the current Jim Cornette's Midnight Express. Sweet Stan Lane, Beautiful Bobby, up against the original Midnight Express. Dennis Condrey decided to come out from under the rock he was hiding or something. I don't know why he disappeared, but he did. Disappeared, and after like Starrcade 86, lover boy Dennis was gone. He just disappeared. Seriously, Jim Cornette, Bobby Eaton, the company, NWA tried calling him. He just wouldn't answer. They didn't know where the hell he went or where he was. I think he disappeared actually to take care of his wife, I think. but he came back at the end of 88. The original Midnight Express was Randy Rose, ravishing Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey, Loverboy, against Sweet Stan and Bobby Eaton. And Jim Cornette was the new Midnight Express's manager, and Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously, was with the original Midnight Express as their manager, and they had a big tag match at Starrcade 88. Check it out. So, original Midnight Express versus the new Midnight Express. That was a pretty good feud in 88, towards the end of 88. I enjoyed it. So, other feuds in 1988. Most of these are from the WWF, because that's what I watched the most as a kid. Even though I still include some NWA feuds. Here's an AWA feud for you. I think is in 88. Or late 87. I think it's 88 though. The Midnight Rockers and the AWA. The Midnight Rockers were the AWA tag champs. They were feuding with the Nasty Boys, and they had pretty good matches together. Another AWA feud from 1988 was pretty good. They had really good matches together. Over the AWA World Title, Kurt Hennig, before he went to WWF as Mr. Perfect, he went there. I believe he had a dark match, and he was a part of WrestleFest 88. From my hometown of Milwaukee, at the old Brewers Stadium, Milwaukee County Stadium. That's where WrestleFest 88 was. It was like a super card. It was seriously could have been a WrestleMania. It's a damn big show at like 25,000. As a kid, I was 5 years old. WrestleFest 88, I think, was July 31st, 88. I was just turned 5. I wish I could have went to that show, but I didn't even know it existed and was there. Nobody fucking told me in my family to try to take me. I wish I could have went, but whatever. I did not go to WrestleFest 88, but I did get to go to the main event taping and a Saturday night's main event, or the main event taping, and then they had other matches on part of the main event. The main event in, I think it was January or February 89, the main event where Miss Elizabeth got taken out by Randy Savage through the ropes. It was the Mega Powers against Akeem and the Big Boss Man. Elizabeth took a nasty bump where Randy Savage landed on top of her. She was probably a little bit hurt, but not real bad. I don't know if she took that bump, because she's little, tiny, small woman. And Savage was at least like 230 or 225 or something. But I was at that main event taping where Miss Elizabeth was taken out and Hogan carried her to the back. I was actually there. I don't remember it that much, but I know I was there. I do remember being there, and the taping was very long because they kept doing matches, probably for primetime wrestling. But anyways, WrestleFest 88, Kurt Hennig had like a dark match, or he had a match on the show. I think it was like a tryout. And then he's hired by the WWF after that. And then I believe at the end of 88, or before the end of 88, we saw a whole bunch of Mr. Perfect vignettes. And then he's a part of Survivor Series 88. But Kurt Hennig in the AWA, for the AWA World Title, Kurt Hennig, Jerry the King Lawler had, like, as far as I know, 2 matches that were on TV that were really good. One was from the shithole casino, the Showboat. I don't know if it was a shithole casino hotel, but that's where they did a lot of AWA tapings for AWA on ESPN. So I guess AWA thought, oh, wrestling, or ESPN at the time thought wrestling gets big ratings on NBC and TBS. Let's get wrestling, but let's get the third promotion that was dying. Let's get them. And that's what happened. AWA went on ESPN. And I don't know what the ratings were, but it couldn't have been even close to what WWF or NWA was getting. I doubt it was. But they were running for like at least 2 to 3 to 4 years on ESPN, I think. So, again, Kurt Hennig, Jerry Lawler, and AWA 1988 was a pretty damn good feud. Both guys at the time were in their prime still and could work. This was a great fucking feud. What a great build-up to start the feud. Rick Rude, ravishing Rick Rude, wanted to kiss a woman out of the crowd. He saw an attractive woman, went to ringside right up in her face, and he wanted to kiss her. She didn't want to kiss him. Bobby Heenan got on the mic. He was like, "You're not going to kiss ravishing Rick Rude. How dare you?" He's like, "Get up and just kiss him. Do it." And then she's like, "No thanks. I don't think he's very good. He's not even my favorite." And then Rick Rude or Bobby Heenan asked this woman in the front row at like a Superstars taping in June 88 or July 88, one of those months. They asked her like, "Oh really, I'm not your favorite. You don't like me. Well, who the hell are you here to see? Who do you like?" And she said, "Jake the Snake Roberts." And Rick Rude was pissed. He was hot. And then he was like, he was pissed. And Rick Rude, I think, grabbed her wrist and started just pulled her up to her feet and was squeezing her wrist, hurting her. And then at one point, she even said on the mic, "Jake the Snake is my husband." Or maybe Bobby Heenan asked her, "Why do you like him?" And then she said, "He's my husband." The crowd popped. And when Rick Rude grabbed her by the wrist, Jake the Snake runs to the ring, attacks Rick Rude. The crowd was just going insane and nuts. This was a different time, different era. The fans fucking thought it was real. All the action, all the feuds, the crowds were just super into it because they thought everything was real. Kayfabe did not exist. Nobody knew, there was no internet. Nobody fucking read dirt sheets to find out and know everything about the wrestlers and to know they would get together or be friends. And nobody knew that shit. When I was a kid, I didn't know it. I thought it was real until I was 7. And I still say the action and the bumps are real because injuries happen all the time. The bumps are real. The action's real. The only thing that's scripted is who's gonna win ahead of time. And the storylines are scripted. Who gives a crap? That's what... Every time some asshole that is not into wrestling and wants to put it down, they always say to me, "Oh, you watch that fake stuff? You still watch that fake stuff?" Like, wake the fuck up, morons that like to bash wrestling. Wake the fucking hell up. Movies are scripted. They're not real. Your favorite TV shows are not real either. So why the fuck does wrestling get fucking picked on? Pisses me off. It shouldn't get picked on. It's the greatest entertainment, in my opinion, and one of the greatest sports. The physicality is fucking real. They just are trained professionals and know how to not injure each other. And you gotta take care of your opponents always. So, my God, Rick Rude, and then Rick Rude actually got stripped, and Jake Snake pulled his tights down. I don't know if his bare ass was showing, or if he had a jock strap. I think he had a jock strap, I'm pretty sure. But as a kid, I still remember this. It's just burned in my brain. When Rick Rude was stripped by Jake the Snake in the middle of the ring, he started pulling him around the ring by his tights, just pulling him around. And I thought legit Rick Rude was like totally nude. I was just cracking up laughing. It was hilarious. And again, I hope he had a jock strap on. It was just hilarious. Jake the Snake was so pissed he ripped his gear off. It was hilarious. I think they put up like a big X on the screen or some shit. Or they had a censor over Rick Rude's ass. That's, really, I get it on, like, regular TV to censor something, or to censor, I guess, a fucking ass, like nobody knows what an ass looks like. How is that offensive? Not to me, but anyways, yeah, especially if you're on cable. If wrestling's on cable, they shouldn't be censoring anything. Not language, not body parts, not wardrobe malfunctions, but they gotta do it. So, what a feud. Jake the Snake, Rick Rude, they wrestled in, I believe, Madison Square Garden, probably Boston Gardens in 88 in the summer. They wrestled at WrestleFest 88. They feuded until, like, SummerSlam, or even after SummerSlam. They still feuded. It was a damn memorable feud, Rick Rude, Jake the Snake in 1988. Another feud that was pretty good in 88. The matches were pretty damn good because of Ric Flair. Ric Flair carried him. Fucking carried his bodybuilding ass. I know he wasn't a professional bodybuilder. He was a football player in the Canadian Football League, USFL, I think. Lex Luger. The guy looked like a bodybuilder. Was not a good wrestler or worker, but when he faced off with Ric Flair, he actually had damn good matches. Again, thanks to Ric Flair. Because of Ric Flair, Lex Luger had good matches and got over as a babyface. If Luger didn't have Flair, he would have never got over as a face. And it seemed like NWA in 88 was trying to push Lex like he was fucking Hulk Hogan. And he wasn't. And he kept losing to Ric Flair. Or they did time limit draws or DQs or count out finishes. But it's hilarious. Again, in 88, Ric Flair, Lex Luger had a main event match at Great American Bash 88. It was pretty damn good, but I forget the finish. But Luger didn't win the title. That was hilarious. Still is funny. He never defeated Flair. And he shouldn't have, because Flair was way better with the title, and Luger did not deserve it, in my opinion. And then, after Great American Bash, had another match. Main event of Starrcade 88. Again, it was damn good, but that's thanks to Ric Flair. Lex Luger, Ric Flair, and Luger against the Horsemen was a good feud in 88. About good feuds from WCCW World Class Championship Wrestling. I don't remember their feuds in 88. I'm sure they weren't very good because the territory was just about dead in 88. At least in 87, World Class, I know, had Ultimate Warrior, fucking Dingo Warrior, one of the worst names for a wrestler to have. He's a Dingo Warrior. And Rick Rude was also in WCCW in 87. I think both of them held the WCCW World title. And then I think after 88, WCCW in 89 or 90 became USWA, and Jerry Jarrett took them over. And I think Jerry Lawler is a part of it too. Or a part of the owner. Whatever. I don't remember the feuds in WCCW in 1988. I'm sorry. I don't. More feuds that were good in 88. Demolition against the Hart Foundation. Really good. Hart Foundation turned babyface before SummerSlam 88. They were baby faces and had a lot of good matches with Demolition. Also, a good feud in 88. Demolition, the British Bulldogs. They had really good tag matches. They weren't like fast paced, but still it was just 4 power guys and just beating the crap out of each other. I enjoyed them. They had a match at WrestleFest 88. Demolition and the Bulldogs. They had matches, I think, at Madison Square Garden. I know they had matches at Boston Garden in the summer of 88. Also, you could throw in Demolition against the Strike Force. They had really good matches also in 1988. Now let's go to the NWA feuds. Back to the NWA. The Varsity Club and Kevin Sullivan against Jimmy Garvin and Precious, his wife. That was a really hot feud in 1988. Kevin Sullivan and Jimmy Garvin. Where Kevin Sullivan was like, kept trying to kidnap Precious. Or actually did. And the Varsity Club and Kevin Sullivan, they had a Tower of Doom match against Jimmy Garvin, I think Ronnie Garvin, and the Road Warriors, and Dr. Death. So that match was hard to watch because the fucking cages were so damn high at the Bash 88, and the camera was trying to get the action, but the wrestlers all looked tiny as hell. And like the third cage and second level, the match was a mess. But as a kid, I loved it. I didn't think it was shit as a kid. As an adult, the concept to have 3 levels of a cage, the concept was good, really good. But they just didn't have the production and good camera work for you to be able to see all the fucking action going on clear enough. Not that the cameras were like blurry, they were not, but still, the production was not as good in the N88 in wrestling. WWF had great production, always, but NWA did not. Dusty Rhodes, another feud in the NWA I enjoyed. I thought it was a feud of the year. Dusty Rhodes, Barry Windham. And then, for some reason, Ronnie Garvin turned heel on Dusty and did it for the money. And then he's paid a whole bunch of money and he started rubbing the money all over his chest. That was weird. I don't want to see Ron Garvin as a heel ever. The guy was a damn good babyface. Damn good worker, Ronnie Garvin. The guy was one of my favorites to watch in the 80s because how hard-hitting his matches were against Ric Flair and others. So, more feuds in 88. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant. They had a match, 1988, February, the main event, where it got a record rating. I think the rating was like 11 million people watched. Might even be higher than that. I'm not sure. But that was in February where Andre won the title, but Hogan got his shoulder up. The ref didn't see it. The refs were paid off. The refs were the Hebners. Earl and Dave came out. They were twins. They both debuted on TV. And it was hilarious. What an angle to have Dave and Earl Hebner, twin brothers, as the 2 referees. And Hogan is staring at him like, what the fuck? How are you twins? You both got plastic surgery to screw me over and take the title and take the money from the $1 Million Man to screw him out of the title, give it, or have Andre win it. Then Andre gives it to Ted DiBiase. That was epic. But then they were stripped of it. Because that's wrong. You can't give a title to another wrestler if you win it. because Ted DiBiase tried to buy the WWF title. And it actually worked because Andre won. I don't care if Andre is champion for 30 seconds. He was still a world champion. I don't know why they had Andre get rid of it immediately. I know that's a storyline. But Andre could have held it for at least a month and dropped it at WrestleMania or something, but whatever. I guess Vince or I don't know, whoever is booking Andre, they didn't want Andre to get pinned to lose the title. That's my guess. I don't know. But Hogan, Andre in the main event. And then Hogan I think he picked up Earl, just ran and bench pressed him over the top rope and tossed him onto Ted DiBiase and Virgil. And I don't know if Dave Hebner was there. And rest in peace, by the way, to Dave Hebner. So then Hogan and Andre had a first round tournament match. WrestleMania 4 Championship Tournament, Hogan Andre. It was a mess, but it ended in a DQ or something. Double DQ, I think. But it wasn't as good as WrestleMania 3, but they couldn't do that much because Andre was limited. But I still enjoy watching it to this day. I still enjoy seeing Hogan Andre at WrestleMania 4. Then, Hogan and Andre had a cage match. Their only cage match ever at WrestleFest 88. I don't know why Peacock cannot get WrestleFest 88 on Peacock. I have it on DVD. It's like a over 3-hour show, I think. Or close to 3 hours. The before WWE Network, the first WWE service that was on digital cable and cable services, WWE 24/7, actually ran WrestleFest 88. I don't know why WWE Network can't get it on there, and why Peacock can't. Or not Peacock, but why can't WWE add WrestleFest 88 to Peacock? It's a fucking historic big event in the late 80s. Again, there were 25,000 fans out of 40,000 seats. I don't think they sold seats for the outfield seating and bleachers. There were a lot of bleacher seats in the old outfield of County Stadium. I was there many times. The bleachers went up very high in the outfield. I sat in them many times, but I don't think they had any fans in them because it was so far away from the ring. And during WrestleFest 88, they never showed the bleachers, so I don't think they had seating there. They cut it off. But Hogan Andre had a cage match, WrestleFest 88. You can actually find it on YouTube if you look it up. I think the match is only 11 minutes. And Andre hardly does anything, but it's still cool to see Hogan Andre. I don't care that Andre couldn't move. They were still two huge fucking names going at it. So then let's go to the summer of 88. Where Hogan and Macho Man teamed up and became the Mega Powers. Ooh, yeah. And did the handshake on Saturday night's main event. And they become the Mega Powers. And they feud with Ted DiBiase and Andre, the Mega Bucks. And they had a main event match at the first ever SummerSlam 88. Other good feuds from 88. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Andre the Giant, had 2 to 3 matches, at least 2 or 3 that were televised that I've seen. You had Hacksaw Andre at Boston Garden, I think in a regular one-on-one. Then they went back to Boston Garden at a lumberjack match. And then I think Madison Square Garden again at a lumberjack match. I think Hacksaw and Andre. I enjoyed that feud, Hacksaw versus Andre. I thought it was a good feud in 88. on an episode of Superstars. Hacksaw got up in Andre's face, and Andre talked trash or started choking him or something, and Hacksaw had him in a bear hug. I think Hacksaw even had a blood capsule in his mouth he bit to sell. He was internal bleeding from a bear hug. Anyways, Hacksaw picks up, trying to get his 2x4 to find it, picks it up, hits Andre in the forehead and knocks him out cold. That's pretty good shit. And that started their feud. These matches weren't nationally televised, but they were on TV on MSG Network and home video releases, best of WWF, Coliseum home video releases. I think one of them might have been on Hacksaw Jim Duggan, best of Coliseum video. I know one of them was best of WWF, one of their lumberjack matches, or two of them. That's how I saw them. And they're probably on YouTube. Look up Andre against Hacksaw Jim Duggan from 1988. You'll probably find their matches. Again, they weren't great matches. They weren't even 5-star or 3-star matches, but I enjoyed them. I still do. Other feuds, let's go to NWA. Road Warriors turn heel. Road Warriors against Dusty Rhodes. I thought that was a hell of a hot feud. It didn't last that long, because Road Warriors took off their spiked, untwisted off the shoulder pads, spiked Dusty in his eye like he was blinded and he's bleeding and bladed on TBS. And they got so pissed, TBS or somebody from the network, or I don't know, they had more power than Dusty. They fucking fired him as a booker just because he got stabbed in the eye and maybe he was told to not do it. Don't do that storyline. Don't do it or else you'll be fired. I don't know, but he did it anyway. And I thought it was awesome that he got stabbed in the eye. As a kid, I legit, when I saw it, I thought he is fucking blind, and I couldn't believe the Road Warriors did that shit. Road Warriors did get booed at Starrcade 88. It was Dusty and Sting against the Road Warriors. Talk about a fucking dream match. 4 Hall of Famers. And I thought it was really good. I thought it was a hot feud. But after Starrcade 88, I believe, Road Warriors just went back to baby faces right away. So, other good feuds in 88. Again, the Mega Powers, the Mega Bucks. Macho Man is WWF Champion against Ted DiBiase. They feuded in 88 in the spring and summer over the WWF title. They had matches at Madison Square Garden, LA, probably Boston Garden. So, yeah, they had really good WrestleFest 88. Again, WrestleFest 88 was like a WrestleMania 4 2.0. WrestleFest 88, Macho Man defended the title against Ted DiBiase. They had a really good match. They also had a cage match, Macho Man and Ted DiBiase in 88, I think in MSG. It might even be, or I think it was released on one of the WWE DVDs, maybe the Macho Man DVD, I'm not sure, but it was Savage against Ted DiBiase in a cage. I know I saw it on a WWE DVD release. I just can't remember what DVD. Might be the Macho Man story. I'm not sure. But, yeah, other feuds of the year. Sting and Nikita Koloff. And Nikita returned. He had hair. That was weird to see him with a flat top. Nikita Koloff had hair. And he teamed up with Sting as they took on the Horsemen. Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. That was really good matches for the NWA tag titles. They had a really good match at Great American Bash 88. Give me a second. I'm going to get something to drink here. So I'm back. It's got a drink. So let's talk about NWA Feuds of the Year. For 88, Sting, Nikita, Tully, Arn. Really good matches. Also from 88. I'm trying to... Maybe I'm done. Or yeah, this was a good feud, but the matches were not good. I felt sorry for Bobby Heenan. He tried his best, but he got beat the fuck up because Warrior was reckless as fuck. Warrior didn't care if he injured anybody. And poor Bobby Heenan had to work with Warrior like 2 to 3 times. Maybe 4 times, or maybe more than that. They had a match at Madison Square Garden, Weasel Suit match, which the crowd loved, and it was super over when Bobby Heenan had to put on the Weasel Suit, or Warrior put him in it. And Warrior, Bobby Heenan at WrestleFest 88 in another Weasel Suit match, and they could have worked other cities and states. They probably did. But it was a good feud in 88. Warrior, Bobby Heenan, Weasel Suit matches. So those are all my feuds of the year for the year 1988. Hope you enjoyed my Feuds in Wrestling, not feuds of. Feuds in Wrestling for 1988. Those are all my feuds of the year. Feuds in Wrestling for 1988. I'll be back in the future with and it won't be 2 years from now. I'll be back sooner than 2 years to do Feuds in Wrestling for 1989. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Bye for now, everybody.